So like I grew up when I was in my makeup era just baking the shit out of my under eyes, which looked great when I was in my 20s. And now I'm like, even like look at a concealer and I'm creasing.
Mascara is a big deal for you too, because the mascara will open your eyes back up. Hooded eyes, the mascara lifted really makes a big difference.
So speaking of like opening up the eyes, there's also like the white eyeliner, maneuver. And I was taught to do it like on the lower lid.
See hacks where people, because I have a hard time drawing like the wing liner, people putting like, I don't know, like toothpick or whatever, like a card.
Hi, Erica. Welcome.
Hey there, thanks for having me.
Erica, you are a powerhouse in the makeup industry and on social media. Can you give our listeners your background and how you've gotten to where you are today?
Now, before we start the show, I just want to give a shout out to one of our major sponsors, In Beauty Projects, for sponsoring our podcast. And it's so funny because I love their products and use it all the time. And I actually talk about it frequently on my Instagram stories. And I really love their Extreme Cream line. This moisturizer contains a bioactive retinol and peptides along with ceramides. It is a great one-stop shop moisturizer if you're looking for a moisturizer with additional benefits of skin rejuvenation, improving the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and a creamy texture, especially if you are new to retinol or have a hard time tolerating retinol, or say looking for a retinol that really not only you can use on your face, but also neck and chest and other parts of your body. I love this one because it comes in a pump that you can just easily dispense. A few pumps of the face, extend that down to your neck and chest, and a few more for your hands or where else you're struggling with anti-aging concerns. It's creamy, but yet lightweight, fast absorbing. It is a wonderful product that you must incorporate into your anti-aging routine. And then for our followers, you are in for a treat because you can use the code SKINDEEP at inbeautyproject.com to receive 15% off your first order of Extreme Cream, or click the link in the show notes to save 15% on your order. Again, that's using the code SKINDEEP at inbeautyproject.com for 15% off your first order.
Yeah, I'll just do a brief. I started in the cosmetics industry at 19 when I was getting punished for not being able to find a job because I was like this kind of gothic art student, and like the Gap and other stores wouldn't hire me. So someone was like, I've always done my friend's makeup, and someone was like, why don't you work in cosmetics? And I was like, okay. I marched into a Macy's in Valley Stream, New York, and I got hired at a makeup counter. A year later, I was recruited to a MAC store, and then I just found my groove. I loved it. As I finished college to be an art teacher, I stayed in the cosmetics world, just growing, learning, training, working with so many different companies. And it was just, really my passion was to teach the everyday client and to teach the makeup artists how to do makeup, right? So I did celebrities, I did the different things, but what I loved was the one-on-one teaching. So it was like my art background, my love of people, and makeup all came together. So it just worked out. And then a couple of years ago, I just started posting just really to teach things that I know because I work with the everyday client for 30 years. So I know the crazy stuff that we do, So I was just kind of trying to teach the basic stuff, and here we are.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So Erica and I actually met, which you don't see a lot of overlap at events with dermatologists and makeup artists, but we got to go on a trip together to Paris, where I got this ring that we all got together. It's like our connection. But I was geeking out. I was fangirling when I saw her because, she has just been changed what I did with my makeup. I was stuck in the 2010 trends. I still thought I was a 20-something-year-old girl. No, I am a almost 40-year-old mom of two living on the Gulf Coast. I should not be doing baked under eyes anymore. And I have followed her from afar. I was so happy and excited to meet her. And when I posted that I was with her, I can't tell you how many random ass people, friends and girlfriends from all walks of life, were like, I freaking love Erica Taylor. You are so lucky you are hanging out with her. You are just a goddess when it comes to makeup. So I can't wait to pick your brain. I think everyone wants to hear what you have to say.
Oh, thank you so much. And I was fangirling too. And, same here. Like even my team was like, "You're with the derm guru? I follow her. I follow her." So, yes.
Oh man. Well, let's dive right in. Let's actually talk about makeup trends. I have so many questions to ask you about that too, because I also am on the Red Note, the Chinese platform, and there's so many trends there that I'm like, it's just, yeah, so many questions. But anyways, over the years, how have makeup trends changed and how do you stay on top of the latest techniques?
You know, yes, trends change, and I try to stay evolving with the trends, but like not every trend is for us. Like, for example, when I was in my 20s, low rise jeans were in. Now they're coming back. I had 3 C-sections. I'm not jumping on that bandwagon, right? So if a really matte face comes back in, that's not for us. So I try to, it's almost like taking the runway to the streets. I see what they're doing and I'm like, let's keep it relevant. We go from, I started in the 90s. So a lot of what we're doing now, we saw in the 90s. But 90s, we didn't bronze or contour, right? What was that? We just put blush and, just like hope for the best. Then we evolved into when everyone went wild in the early 2000s with bronzer. They discovered Benefit Hula and they just had hula everywhere. And I worked at
All over
Benefit at the
my
time.
neck.
Yeah, everyone, all over their clothes. I worked at Benefit. They'd walk up to the counter. I'd be like, let me guess, another hula?
You could tell just by looking at their collar on their neck, right?
Yes. And then we go from that, we morph into the wild contour. It's like everyone discovered, Scott Barnes came out and everyone discovered what contour was and went next level with, remember the Anastasia palettes where it was the powder contour and everyone looked like gray and like marbles, right? Then came the
That was
yellow.
me. Guilty.
Yeah, we all did. Then there was the yellow banana powder and we all went wild. So it's just so fun to see the evolution. Then the 2015-16 was when the Kardashians and everybody wanted to be a Kardashian and we did the block brow and and now it's kind of pandemic brought us all to more natural because like where were we going? Right? So we focused on the birth of the derm was even more crazy during pandemic because everything focused to skincare. Because we went nowhere. And then the makeup became like a skincare morph hybrid. And, now we're kind of like a more natural 90s vibe. It's just like to every action, like in art, I was an art history major as well. To every action, there's a reaction, right? So you're going to go from a glowy skin, then all of a sudden it'll be matte. So it's just like you wait. Whatever happens, you just wait for the opposite to happen next.
Honestly, I feel like you just took us through the evolution of makeup. Did you guys ever see those videos that used to be popular a while ago where they'd be like the evolution of dance or the evolution of music? And I lived through all of this, but I never really sat down and thought about just how crazy the makeup trends have changed. And I always say this about skincare too. Like the pendulum swings when it goes to one extreme, people are gonna backlash and go to the other. Like I've even started to hear, because that glowy skin has been around for a while, glowy makeup, that now it might be starting to swing more towards like goth makeup and what do they call, like mobster wife makeup, and like
oh yeah, the mob wife.
Yeah, where do you see makeup going in the future?
Right now we're still kind of at that glowy, glassy skin situation, but you're seeing trickles of the matte, the cloud coming in, which is more of like an evolution of the matte. So they understand. And I think the makeup industry has really noticed that they haven't ever catered to the Gen X, right? Gen X, the older millennials. It was always like you thought you had to wear like Elizabeth Arden or Estee Lauder or Lancome. And now you're seeing like versions of a more like movable matte and a little bit more inclusivity, like with more skincare that can be used whether you're mature or not. I mean, I have brands that I've never worked with before reaching out for me to do like a mature take on their products because they probably have someone saying like, hey, there's a whole demographic we forgot about that actually has money. So I think we're seeing a lot more inclusion of skincare elements, but we're kind of in a cloudish matte place.
Is there like an old trend or like maybe a timeless makeup look that you hope doesn't go away or that is something that's considered more timeless?
Absolutely. And that would be the latte that everyone brought back, the latte eye. And I'm like, oh, you mean the nice natural chocolate brown smoky eye? The one that we
Yeah.
did?
I
Is
Nice.
love
that
that
what
they
that
give
is?
I love that they give everything a different name on TikTok when it's literally just the same things repeated
Yeah.
over and over, you know?
No, I just laugh because I've been one of them because I'm in the industry for 30 years that has seen every one of them. So I just laugh. I'm like, oh, there's that. When everyone was doing like the L
Right, right.
blush, I'm like, hey guys, the 90s called. We want our L blush back.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's pretty wild. But yeah, I would say that just natural brown, smoky, kind of like nice warm skin, nudish lip, not the very pale nude, which I call
Mhm.
kind of like the meth head nude, sorry.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
The
That's
zombie
hilarious.
zombie nude, right? More
Uh-huh. Right.
more correct. Um, but yeah, like the nice natural pinky nude, soft smoky eye, like healthy skin is always going to be in.
Healthy
Yeah.
skin will always be trending, right?
Always.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. I've seen this on TikTok. Is the winged black eyeliner dead?
No.
Oh,
No.
thank God.
Okay.
Thank God.
It's not going
I was gonna
away.
listen ever,
As
right?
long as an eye needs an elongation, that cannot go. I mean, that is timeless. From Cleopatra to Audrey Hepburn to Elizabeth
Mm.
Taylor to Taylor Swift is still doing it. Okay, Katy Perry. I mean, every icon. Kendall Jenner is doing that recently. As long as there is an eye that requires elongation and definition, that will never go.
Say one thing you have taught me though is I used to do the full eye, right, with the black eyeliner, but you don't have to do that, especially if you have a hooded eye, which I learned from you, and you're maturing and your eye is starting to become hooded because that can really make your eye look a ton worse, right?
Yeah, because as your eye becomes hooded, I said there's those of us that are born with hooded eyes, right? My daughter's 11, 12 now, sorry, 12, hello. She has hooded eyes, and I teach her how to do her makeup a little differently. But what happens is you can earn a hooded eye. As your lid slackens, you lose the volume, which you guys, hello, you're derm, so you know that. I don't have to tell you that. And you lose like the ability or the room. I like to say the real estate. Okay. So if you put a lot of liner on top, you make your real estate smaller. It's like if you have a little room and you put a giant couch in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So transferring it to under to just fill in the look of your lash line, because guess what? We're losing the lash line too. You fill in the look of the lash line and just extend the corners. And sometimes I like to say it's like you're adding a garage to your house. you're extending your house space here.
Love
I'm
it.
so glad because that's like what I actually do on a regular basis because with my Asian eyelid crease, because with Asian eyelids, the creases are also they're all over the place. Some people have like mono,
Yeah, it could be a hood
like,
or a
right?
monolid.
And
Yeah.
like the thing you want to do is like the eyeliner is really important defining that you're shaping your eyes. But like if you draw really thick, you lose your crease, which is
Yep.
like often desired
And then
in
it
Asian culture.
transfers.
Right. And so what I do is I actually just take a liquid liner to draw the wings. And then I do exactly what you, so I'm so glad that I'm actually doing it right. I just take the pencil and use like the back of a brush and lift up my like lash line and just draw underneath the
Yeah.
lash line to kind of define the lashes, but without actually drawing the liner around like all across my entire upper
Yeah,
eyeline.
that's exactly
Yeah.
what you should be doing. And then the mascara is a big deal for you too, because the mascara will open your eyes back up.
Yeah.
Hooded eyes, the mascara lifted really makes a big difference.
Wow.
So speaking of like opening up the eyes, there's also like the white eyeliner, maneuver. And I was taught to do it like on the lower lid. Is that something you could do on the upper lid, or is that just weird? Like, why is
Not
it just
really
the
on the
lower lid?
On the upper lid, it just gets a little convoluted. And what happens is you can actually get it into your lashes, and then your lashes look dusty.
Oh, okay, that makes
But
sense.
here's the thing
Okay.
with the white liner. Like, I'm on the fence.
Okay.
Because honestly, some people look crazy with the white liner.
Yes, that's true.
And some of us have a thicker, it's different. The way I look at something is I've worked with actual faces, and a lot of social media artists, they know their own face, right? And, as your derms, when you hear someone on social giving advice that's actually not trained or qualified, it like gives you the ick. Same thing here for me as a makeup artist. So there are some eyelids that are thick. It's like a very kind of meaty lower lid,
I
right?
see.
If you put the white eyeliner on a thicker lower lid, it really looks off.
Yeah. Yeah,
and it
I
can
can see
actually make
that.
your lid look almost more droopy. And I would always opt for more of a beige than a white because the
Ah,
white actually makes the inside of your eyes look more yellow.
Oh
oh,
God. You
that's a
don't want to
good
look like
point.
you have cirrhosis. Like that's
Yeah,
not
Exactly, but it
right.
will.
that's not the look I'm
Jaundice.
going for. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it will.
like
So a beige, like a beige, a nude, like
yeah.
stay away from a white. And if your skin
Okay.
is deeper toned, you
Mhm.
do a deeper tone.
Got it. Okay,
Makes
I
sense.
love that.
All right, guys, I really need to share something with you. So, we've all been through postpartum hair loss, and I had 2 kids, so definitely experienced it twice. And the one device that I relied on and I've been using now for 4 years is from iRestore to help with my postpartum hair loss. And I'm super excited that they're a sponsor for our Skin Deep podcast. So, iRestore is a laser device, health device, and I'm putting mine on right now. Essentially, it's like a bike helmet, but with LED lights on the inside that you wear a few times a week and really supports your hair growth journey. And I used it both times, really more religiously second time around, and it made a huge difference for my postpartum hair loss. And I really love the fact that with iRestore, they have trials in a 4-month double-blind clinical trial done by dermatologists. 100% of the study participants grew more hair with their iRestore laser and LED technology. And listeners, you are going to, iRestore is offering you a $625 off with their elite device using code SKINDEEP that has 282 lasers and LED lights. You're getting the whole real deal with hair regrowth and also a 12-month money back guarantee. We all know with devices, it takes time to grow hair. I mean, with any treatment, it takes time. And a lot of times you won't even see results until 6 to 7 months. So I really love the fact that they offer you this 12-month money back guarantee so that way you can try it out risk-free. For a limited time only, our listeners will get $625 off their iRestore Elite when you use code SKINDEEP at irestorelaser.com. That's $625 off your iRestore Elite at iRestore.com with the promotion code SKINDEEP.
Do you have any other like tricks on how to open up the eyes? You mentioned the mascara or the
Mascara
foundation.
up, not out, because the
Okay.
mascara, is everything this way. Like, so if your
Yeah.
eyes are closed, the mascara will reopen, right? And then
Mm,
also, what I always say, uncomfortably high to lift your eye. Nobody does the crease high enough, and it's a scary thing when you're putting it on because you feel like you're going to look like a maniac, right?
yeah. Right.
Or like Mimi, the Drew Carey show.
Maybe. I haven't heard that in decades.
So,
I know exactly
so
who you're talking about.
if your eye is lower, if you do your crease too low, your eye, it doesn't show. So you
I
actually
see.
have to go almost as high as the brow bone and let it fade up like a sunrise, and
Mm,
that will open your eyes up more. Another trick
wow.
that I find rounds the eye out is taking a little bronzer and sweeping it under your lash line, like in that what you would call the jelly roll.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a question I want to
Hmm.
ask you because I see that trending so much on like Asian
Totally.
social media,
Hmm.
and everyone, including like like women in their 40s and celebrities are drawing that under eye jelly roll. Like, what do you
Yep.
think of that? And I don't feel like it suits me, or just maybe I'm not doing it right, but I'd love to hear your take on it and how to do it correctly if that's something you recommend.
It's a case by case, and I'll tell you
Yeah.
why you'll see it a lot in the Asian market too. And it's all about like the structure of our face. So
Yeah.
typically, you'll get more of a jelly roll or a little bit more of a bulge here. And
Mhm.
I have more of that, and I get more of a puff. I have a very
Mm.
small almond eye. But if your eyes sink in and you get hollows, that's really not going to be a great trend for you. But if you tend to have a little bit more of a puff or a little swell, if you think about it, why do we contour here? Because it takes the swell down.
Hmm.
So it will actually minimize the look of the jelly roll or the swell when you smile, but it also kind of like masks those fine lines that your
Hmm.
concealer will kind of crust into.
Interesting.
Gotcha.
But
So
it really depends on the eye shape. It is not for everyone.
how do you draw it like so that way it actually looks natural? Because what I've seen, and I've actually even purchased a few like Korean makeup liners that literally have two ends. One end is like a kind of this latte color where you purposely draw in that jelly roll, and the other end is like this glittery highlighter that you then put on top to accentuate the jelly roll to create. And I think in like at least Asian culture, the whole idea is like when you have a jelly roll, you look more youthful. But when I do it, I just feel like my under eyes look dirty, like my like eyeshadow just kind of rubbed off of my like lower eyelid or something. I don't
Same
know.
here. Same
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, well, this is what I do, and I
Yeah.
most certainly, especially as we're maturing, would not shimmer that area. I would say let's leave that highlighter for the top, but I take like whatever bronzer I grab first. So like, sorry, you'll hear me like shuffling around. So
Mhm.
I'll just take whatever bronzer's in front of me,
Uh-huh.
and
Oh, a
you
demo.
kind of
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
you take a softer brush because you don't want one that's too dense, and you just just the tip,
Just
the
for a
tip.
second.
and you smile where that jelly roll is, and you just dust it.
Okay.
And it just, I actually have it on now because I don't really like go out without it. And it just kind of like makes the eye look like a little rounder and softer.
Amazing.
So that's it. Try that instead.
Okay.
Because
Transformative.
if you're using a color that's too taupe, it can mud up.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think speaking of the under eye area, one of the biggest like concerns that I have as I get older is under eye creasing. So like I grew up when I was in my makeup era just baking the shit out of my under eyes, which looked great when I was in my 20s, and now I'm like even like look at a concealer and I'm creasing. Like the people want to know, how do we stop that?
Yeah, that's the abracadabra, right? So you know the skincare part of it, obviously there's evolving, just like we use serums and creams as we need a little more moisture. I think people really forget that eye serums are a thing, that you need the eye serum to treat the crepiness in general, the cream over it. But what I found, and I made a few products viral because of it just wasn't really used as much, is the balms. To put a balm, how we ended up in Paris, right? The rock
Yes.
eye balm.
Yes.
So
this hack is like transformative.
Yeah. I take my rock eye balm is one of my favorites that I use, but you could use, a different balm, an eye oil, and you have to prep a little bit first before you put your concealer on. If you insist on putting powder under the eye, you're going to dust it. You'll put your concealer, let it melt into the balm. You're going to take a brush. You're not going to puff. So gone are the days of the puff under our eyes. You're going to take a loose brush, not a dense brush, because the looser the brush, the looser the product application. The denser the brush, the denser the product application. You're going to take a little powder, just a little on the tip, and you graze it to lock it in. And you take your balm with you, because just like we talk, we touch up our lips, they move, it creases, our eyes move as we speak. So you take your little balm with you, and should anything look crusty, a little abracadabra, you just take the balm, you pat it back over, and it kind of releases the creases.
Nice.
I love it.
Listen, it takes a village.
I love that. It takes a village because
village.
there's like from the derm perspective, there is a procedure that I love with Botox. It's like just diluting it extra and just putting like teeny tiny micro droplets, because you obviously can't put a lot of Botox under there, but like that just kind of takes the edge off some of the
jelly roll, right?
Well, you could do it in the jelly roll if you want to get rid of that, but I'm even talking about below the jelly roll for the crinkling of the under eye area. And
it just kind of like releases.
It just like, yeah, it just relaxes that area, so you're not crinkling as much. And I mean, obviously not everyone has the luxury of getting Botox, but so that's why I love this tip too. It like you said, it takes a village.
Yeah, it's a combo platter.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like diet and exercise. You can do a little bit of both.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I love it.
So what do you think? What are your treatments like for you guys, like for the under eye, for like you're saying a little Botox right under there? And does Botox like on the sides release it a little bit as well? Like what are your...
I think it carries through.
Yeah. Botox is, you have to be careful though, because if you overdo it, you can create, extra wrinkles elsewhere, right? Like you can create kind of a shelf effect if you don't appropriately kind of lower the dose as you go here, where it's just kind of is completely not moving, and then you develop this like shelf here, and then you start to overuse this area here, and the cheek pushes up. So you really have to be careful when you're doing that. I personally love like some under eye PRP or microneedling with PRP to really soften that area. That's made a huge difference for my.
Yeah, I've seen that. What's that other tightening that they've been? There's like, is that the PRP? The kind of like tightens under the eye a little bit. It looks like they're like zapping it.
There's like laser treatments as well.
Maybe I'm thinking of the laser treatments. I've seen some like zappage.
Yes, we don't have that in our office, but I know what you're talking about. And it like you could see like little like dots on the skin, like
Yeah.
yeah.
I've seen that on social. I didn't know exactly what
Mhm,
it was, but I've
mhm.
seen that.
Yeah, we don't have that device in our office, but yeah, that one
I've
looks very. I'm intrigued.
I've done some microneedling with radio frequency. So I've done like all the microneedlings, and like it really can, because you have to think about, like you were saying, you have to utilize everything that you can. So you can use a little bit of Botox to help relax the muscle, but then as we get older, we're losing collagen, we're losing elastin, our face is sagging, we're losing fat, and so you really have to kind of stimulate that collagen to reform. So that's why I like pairing something like Botox, just a little bit, with a collagen stimulating procedure like microneedling. Have you ever had anything like that done? I know you've seen a derm before.
Yeah, I've done some. I do some microneedling.
You like it?
Nice.
Mm-hmm. I do.
Yeah.
I just have them do it super minimal because I don't have that much downtime. So
Mhm.
I'm sure I could do it more aggressively, but I just, I usually have to make a video the next day, so I can't have like, I don't have the the like 3 days for my skin to just kind of recover. So I do like very
Yeah.
mild.
Yes. Yeah. I feel that. Well, what
I love that you said that too, because I feel like, some people say to me like, well, you don't need all this skincare and makeup because you do Botox. And I'm like, Botox is relaxing the muscle, but it's not helping the top of my skin and the
Mhm.
exfoliating and the skin and the texture. Like at the end of the day, my 48-year-old skin is still 48-year-old skin, Botox or
Mhm.
not.
Right.
Which is why I
Yeah.
think people are obsessed with Lindsay Lohan's transformation, because I don't know what she's had done, but she clearly is doing something to her skin to give her that glow up. I mean, her pigmentation's reduced. She just has this like glow about her that I don't know what, cosmetic procedures she's had done, but you cannot underestimate the power and how impactful a good solid skincare routine can be for your, epidermis, for your skin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I agree. Again, like we said, it takes a village, and just getting treatments but not maintaining it is really not going to do it.
Well, also healthy skin is like the foundation, like the canvas for makeup, right? I would love to hear, Erica, like, what are your tips or work, like, to have like set the skin or with like the skincare to prep the skin for like a good makeup look? Like, what do you recommend? What do you do yourself?
I mean, that's so important, okay? Because I feel like as we started when we are younger, we used to slop a powder on and we looked great. I could put Studio Fix on when I was 20 years old and look like a porcelain doll. If I put that on now, I would look like I'm on my way to the grave or like coming out of the grave, right? So
Mhm.
the skin prep, I always say, at 48, over 40s, 50s, 60s, beyond, skin prep is like 60% of the battle. Because if your skin
Wow.
is not right, your makeup will not look right.
Yeah.
So I love using, and I know you've seen me use these before, like the gentle exfoliating pads to just get the
Mm.
dead skin off. So I always recommend a gentle exfoliating pad. I use the First Aid Beauty often because they're like super gentle, but I feel like as long as you have ones that work for you, I'm not always product like brand specific as I am
Mhm.
kind of product specific,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then I like to use like a glowy serum. I find if your makeup is going to pill, it's going to be your vitamin C or your hyaluronic acid. If they have a gel like type texture, she's rolling. It's pilling. It's
No one wants
happening.
that. Yeah.
No. So I look for more of an oil kind of serum. That's why I use the double serum quite a bit, like an oil kind of serum. Or I'll look for even like a vitamin C that's more of a lotion vitamin C. Something that has that texture. You really want to check it on the back of your hand put your products together, let them sit a little bit so you know if it's going to roll or not. I'm very like texture oriented. And then I'll do my basic hydration, eye serum, eye cream, right? Right before my concealer is my eye balm, but that's more like a right before my concealer, so it's fresh. But I think it's really like checking those textures are really, they can marry into each other. So your skin is going to perform really well with the makeup. Because I'm not a derm, I'm a makeup artist first. So my main goal is to get your makeup looking good.
And what are your tricks for making it last as well? That's the other struggle I have is putting it on, but then like, it's not lasting throughout the day, especially like my base makeup.
Yeah, you
Or it
guys don't
looks
wear enough.
cakey.
You don't wear enough. I've watched it. I've done this research for 30 years, and people will say to me every time I see someone that goes, my makeup always comes off. I'm like, show me what you're doing. And I'm like, oh, you don't have anything on there. Of course that's not staying.
Ah.
Yeah, or you're putting it on and almost wiping it back off as you're putting it on. I think everyone's scared to use enough. You don't have to
Mhm.
cake it on, but you have to use a little more than you think. Then you set it with the powder, right? Lightly grazing with the powder and the hydrating setting spray. You have to kind of double reinforce. And here's another little thing. Our face moves. We're not made of plastic. Nothing is going to stay all day perfectly. You have to expect small touching up. You have to take a pressed powder with color with you. And if you get a hole around this area, you just pat lightly so you don't disrupt the coverage. And, you might have to replace a little concealer, especially on the inner corner, because that's where we move the most when we speak. So I think having the expectation that you're going to put your makeup on in the morning and you're going to be perfect for the rest of the day, it's not realistic.
Okay. Well, what do you, this is like a totally different topic, but like I see so many tutorials on TikTok and I am just like, well, should I try that? And they just seem crazy. Like, putting your blush on, then putting your foundation on and like doing everything. It's always a video that says you're doing this wrong. But like what is the difference between what you see on social media and real life makeup? Like, break that down for us. We need to know.
Hey guys, I just want to interrupt. First of all, I want to give a shout out to one of the skincare brands I love that is near and dear to my heart. And I'm super excited. They're a major sponsor of our podcast, and that is In Beauty Project. And if you follow me on social media like Instagram, I frequently share their product on my Instagram stories. So whether you're 25 or 65, there's one product that really should be in your routine. And it's just little bit under $50, which is really affordable for a big product of retinol, which these days can be quite expensive. And I'm talking about their extreme cream. You guys know I shared this so many times on my Instagram stories. I love it because it's nourishing, elegant, creamy texture that acts as a moisturizer, but with additional benefits of bioretinol, peptides, and ceramide. So not only are you getting skin plumping benefits, collagen support, improving the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, but you're also nourishing your skin and supporting your skin barrier. This large bottle comes in a pump, easy to dispense. You can use it on your face and neck, chest, wherever you need for anti-aging concerns. It's also fragrance free, so really great for our sensitive skin friends. And I also love the fact it comes in a miniature size for travel friendly. That is what I pack with me when I'm on the go. So you're never missing your anti-aging product, even when you're traveling. And right now, you can use the code SKINDEEP at inbeautyproject.com to receive 15% off your first order of your extreme cream. Or click the link in the show notes below to save 15% on your order. Again, that's code SKINDEEP at inbeautyproject.com to receive your 15% off of your first order.
A lot of it's clickbait. And as a real makeup artist for many years, it's for follows, it's for likes, it's not for teaching. It is just, because they want to get a big video, they want to go viral. So there are fun hacks that you can try. I created the viral, like the kind of the triangle to lift your cheek, because I always explain why I'm doing the hack, because I feel like if you understand the why, you can do the how. The people that are creating this hack don't even know like necessarily what they're doing. And I feel like a lot of it is so overwhelming because it's like you see the hack, they're holding scissors to their face and like, oh, I'm going to do this is for the No,
Okay, good. I won't waste my time.
you're going to look nuts. And whose cheek is the same size? I don't know if this is your cheek size and your cheek size. Like,
Yeah.
like, no, so a lot of it is just, don't do this, do this, don't do this, do this. Now, it's fun to try, right? They're fun to try. And if you find one that works for you, fantastic. But if you find one that works for you and you're happy and you look good, you don't have to try the next one. It's really just fun experimentation to find the hacks that work for you. But a lot of it, just understand, is more clickbait and like, rage bait than it is real makeup.
Are there any hacks that you're loving? Like that are legit that you really like?
I love the basic hack of, the ones I make up, right? Because I feel like they make sense.
Yeah.
They make sense, like you had mentioned before, the whole underpainting thing. When you do the blush and then you do the foundation over it. I the thing with underpainting is this. If you're a makeup artist, underpainting is great. For the average person, you're putting all this product on and then wiping it back off just to look the same. I'm like, you're wasting product, you're wasting time, and it's just an overwhelming process. So I just like a very minimal, easy, like, the blush over here is fine because it tells you where to go. The little like things to help you like place where things go. Like tips and tricks like that are real life, I like, but like the really wild hacks, I I'm not impressed. Like they don't impress me much,
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about? I've seen hacks where people, because I have a hard time drawing like the wing liner, people putting like, I don't know, like toothpick or whatever, like a card.
Yeah,
Like
card. You don't
yeah,
need
card.
you
That's
don't
what
need
you
a
go.
toothpick, you don't
Okay.
need like any objects, you don't need a fork, you don't need a knife, you don't need, like all the crazy things. You take a business card, you put it there, and it just helps you line your eye up straight. That's it.
Okay.
That's fine. If
Okay.
somebody wants to use the
Yeah.
tape, make sure it's tape, surgical tape that's made for the skin, so you're not
Mhm.
putting like random glue and pulling your face. I don't mess with the tape because I don't want to pull my face. But like,
Yeah.
yeah,
You'll take
a
your
straight
makeup off
edge.
too,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But a
for your
straight edge, a
skincare.
card, fine.
Mhm.
Totally works.
Some of us are in our 40s, and what do you think is like a tip that, or what is something that you do for clients in their 40s? Like, what's something that's just sets the makeup technique apart from a client in their 20s?
Exfoliate. If you don't,
Oh,
the
okay.
biggest tip I could give you, if you don't exfoliate, your makeup will not be great. So I've had so many clients and therefore say, Erica, my foundation, doesn't look right, or this doesn't look right. I'm like, can you tell me when the last time you exfoliated was? And that's why I joke around. I'm like, it's not your makeup, it's your face.
Love it.
So are you saying exfoliating on a regular basis or immediately like with those pads before you do the
Yeah.
makeup?
It's the gentle, easy, quick. I love the pads because they're giving you an element of physical and chemical, right? So they're dissolving the dead skin as we're using them. The like glycolic, the alpha beta hydroxys are kind of eating the dead skin. But because it's on a pad, you're getting that instant decrustification.
Mhm.
Because no matter what the makeup is, if it's from the dollar store or Neiman Marcus, it's not going to dissolve dead skin. And as we mature, you all know, the cellular turnover is completely decreased, and the 28-day cycle could be 60 or 90. It's not sloughing off itself. So we do the treatment, the retinols at night, all these things help. But prior to your makeup application, you want to make sure you don't have dead skin. And then the right primer. The silicone primers that you once knew, forget about it. Remember the ones that are like very matte and they smooth the skin?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
don't
like
we
the,
don't
the
want that.
pore.
That's a Cinderella effect. It'll look good when you first put it on, feels good, you got the glass slipper, but a few hours later, you're turning into a pumpkin, okay?
What? Why? What
Mm.
happens?
It gets blotchy, it grabs,
no.
and it's too matte for our skin now. So, and that could also roll, it could pill. So you want to go for more of like a hydrating, glowing, not even, it doesn't have to be glowing, but hydrating primer. Blurring is okay, but like something more that you feel it's more hydrating and plumping, not mattifying and smoothing.
Are there any like specific brands or products?
Yeah, I like
you
the
recommend?
iconic London blurring. Not the blurring, the underglow blurring. The underglow, it's like a glowy. I love some Dior Backstage has a really good one. Even the new the Milk Cloud, it's like a foaming.
Okay.
It's pretty hydrating. And then I just started trying a new one, Supernova Skin by Vive. She was an influencer, Jamie Genevieve, and it's like a really like hydrating, like cream.
Okay, nice.
Stunning. I like that.
Oh, and Milani Skin Quench, highs and lows.
So do you need, I get asked this question in skincare, but like, is there a difference between high-end makeup and drugstore makeup?
Well, I think there's a difference, it's like the high-end skincare, drugstore skincare. I think it's the amount of, the actives that are in it and the kind of pigments that they use. I think if you're spending money, certain brands, like Sarah Creel could be a brand that's a little bit more pricey, but she had created the products for Tom Ford, Victoria Beckham Beauty. And when she wanted a brand, she wanted to spare no expense in creating, whether it's a coated pigment, a flexible pigment, the amount of peptides you could put in. Like Kosas, the owner, Sheena, puts a really intense amount of peptides that costs more to do than you would do with another product. So I think there is an element of you do get some more when you spend more, but there's also an element of some of the times we're just paying for marketing and maybe not the product. So you can still find an amazing product in the drugstore, but I do think it's case by case.
So then are there categories of makeup that you personally would splurge or you think is worth splurging on versus like drugstore
Foundation.
foundation?
You put that all over
Wow.
your face.
Yeah.
Foundation, you put all over your face. Now, I can find you some amazing ones, like the new L'Oreal Lumi La Tint is fabulous drugstore. And there's like a Revlon skin conditioning I really like. But I feel like if you're going to splurge on something, you're going to splurge on your foundation because that is all over your face.
And do you have favorite ones for more mature skin brands that you recommend?
Yeah, I know. I do have a few. So what am I into right now? I've really been loving the Patrick Ta because it has the squalane and the hyaluronic acid, and it's glowy. Okay, I have this one crazy splurge, and I don't even talk about it because I feel like it's the most expensive foundation I own, and I bought it. I don't ask the brand to send me because I don't want to be even obligated to talk about something. I'm like that. Like if I go to a bar and someone wants to buy me a glass of wine, I'm like, I'd rather buy my own and not have to talk to you, right?
I feel that.
Exactly.
So like sometimes if I want to try something, I'm going to buy it myself. I don't want to be obligated. But the Clé de Peau makes this, it's like $270. And it's this like tinted, whatever is in it, like it makes me look 12. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, I need
Love
this.
it.
That's my
need
secret
this.
splurge.
Yeah.
That's my secret, terrible, horrible splurge. And it's almost like embarrassing because it's like a stupid amount of money to spend on something. It's like, like under $300. But that is my secret splurge. But there's
I have
also
tried their concealer. It's like $100 for this tiny stick, but it is really like luxe and like nourishing for the under eyes. Like it's nice.
It is nice. But I would say my mid-range, and Patrick Ta is still not, it's probably about $60. That's another one. And I really love Doll 10 is a great brand for mature skin. And we can't forget about some It Cosmetics. And again, like
Love
It Cosmetics, OG.
Yes.
It Cosmetics was the first to really bring that squalane and the products and the ingredients into, their tinteds. And then Kosas, like I said, she puts all in the skincare. Those are like my go-to, I would say. Typology. I mean, it's so hard. There's so many good ones out now. It's so hard.
What do you think of like the luxury brands? Like I always see like Dior and Chanel and like Lancome. Do you use much of their foundations?
You know what? To me, it's like Fragrance City.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I prefer, and now there's all these great clean brands like Iris and Romeo coming out, and these like that are just so skin centric and so skincare focused. To me, when I think of like, and I do love some Dior, and I like some Chanel, and she's classy and she's cute, but when it comes to like, they just give me like a very fragrancy vibe
Yeah.
that I feel like they're beautiful makeup,
Mm.
but like I'm not still using a rotary phone.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Is that hard to? Is that terrible to say? Like I love new innovations.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right?
Yeah,
Are you
like
still
with-
using the skincare that you were 20 years ago? Like,
Oh my
no, right?
God.
Don't you love the new
Mhm, mhm.
innovations that are coming
Yes.
out?
Totally.
Yeah.
Like,
I
what are
feel
your
like-
favorite? Oh, go ahead.
They're really pushing the limit with skincare too. Like every
Yeah.
time I hear about something new, I'm like, this is game changing. This is mind blowing. Like, how are they even coming up with this stuff that it's like getting better and better and better with time?
But that's like makeup. When someone says to me, "What do you love?" I'm like, "There's so many good. If you like clean beauty, the very clean European clean, the typology. Sarah Creel's coming out with great skincare infused. Kosas has this. So it's like there's not one size. And I said we're in such a one size fits all, but we're in such a great place for us and in our over 40s group because the market has finally realized that they're gearing up and treating our skin too. So instead of getting overwhelmed, I'm like, we finally have options. We don't have to just wear like Elizabeth Arden and like Loda.
Well, okay, wait, there is a Luxe brand that went viral a few times, and I actually wore it on my wedding, and I really liked it. It's like the Giorgio Armani foundation.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I still like the Armani Luminous Silk. They
Yeah,
did that.
that one.
They
Yeah.
did their thing. I have one of their concealers here. Like they're always up in one of my top. Like if someone says, I wear this, should I try something else? I'm like, if you want to try something else, sure, but that's still a good OG. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to
I
know.
love that.
Yeah. Approved.
Okay, good. Erica approved.
All right, Go ahead, Jenny.
No, you go.
I was gonna say I'm gonna force you into something. Okay, so you have to come up with the top 3 things that everyone should do and follow, no matter like what their age is, what their skin type is, and like I know it's gonna be really hard for you to pick because makeup is so personal and it's so individualized. But like 3 things, go. You have to tell us. What do we have to do for makeup?
All right, you have to warm up your skin with a cream bronzer. Get rid of your powder bronzers and get a cream bronzer. Powder bronzers look muddy. I don't care who makes it. I don't care if it's a dollar store. I don't care if it's the most expensive one. They all look like mud on your face. Okay?
Shit.
So you got to get a cream bronzer.
Okay. Done.
That's one. Another thing is, I mean, I can dabble around with cream or powder blush, but I feel like you have to set your makeup with a hydrating setting spray. Not the matte ones, especially, I mean, any age, unless you're super oily, the matte ones, they just kind of like flatten your makeup. Like you need a hydrating setting spray that melts everything in and makes your skin look like skin. And I would say test your concealers on your hand to make sure they're hydrating enough. Because I don't care if you're 20 or if you're, 70, if you're looking dry under the eye, it's not cute. You have to make sure you're using a hydrating concealer or like we said, like, your eye balm.
I love that hack.
Eye balm before concealer. Those are my things. And then another thing I always have to mention, but it's not makeup, is like exfoliate. Please exfoliate. I can't help you if you don't exfoliate.
You can't work magic, right? Like you can't fix someone's skin with makeup. Like you have to have a good palette before you start. That's what we say about double cleansing. Like you can't put your skincare on a cakey face full of makeup. Like that shit just is not going to work. Like you always have to make sure everything is gone off your face. How else do you expect your skincare to penetrate and actually work,
What about favorite cleansers? Double cleansing. I'm going to get you now.
I think that's like asking us to pick our favorite child, which is very rude of you. So I
know. Well, what of some of like the ones that your go-to?
Double cleansing definitely is a must for me. Like I always do a cleansing balm. I like swear by a cleansing balm. I think it's more just like I love to watch the makeup melt. It's just like very gratifying for me. Yeah. So I really love like Clinique Take the Day Away. I love Naturium's cleansing balm. And then I swear by just like drugstore cleansers. Like I am a huge CeraVe, Cetaphil type of girl. Like you do not need to break the bank on a cleanser because their technology for drugstore brands is superior. And it's just a cleanser. Like you're washing it off anyway. So
you know what? I have to tell you, I agree. I have always told my clients over the years, stop spending so much money on a cleanser. You're putting it on and you're taking it off.
Literally.
If you're going to spend, I would say that if you're going to spend on a serum. Yes. Most bang for your buck is your serum. I'd rather you spend on a serum, do a basic Avene hydrating cream over it, right? And but I always say your serums. Yeah. Agreed. But yeah, I love a double cleanse. I double cleanse every night. People are like, but they're still using like the makeup remover wipes. I cannot. That's so bad for our face. No. You're like pulling your eye, pulling your lashes, pulling off your eyebrows. Like, those make me crazy. But I love cleansing balms, oils. And yeah, it's hard to choose because basically like I have so many balms I love as well. And then following it with the foaming cleanser, like that's it. Just as long as you're like getting them both. But I feel like some cleansing balms blind me less than others.
Yes.
Some of you can't see for like 7 minutes.
Yes. Especially if it gets stuck under your contact. Like you are now blind for the rest of your life. Like welcome to this new reality.
I know. That's like what I go by for. Like what could I see the quickest after?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And also I have super, super sensitive eyes. My eyes are so sensitive that I have to be careful. So if it doesn't bother my eyes, I'm like, we're married. That's it. Done.
So you are anti-makeup wipe. Like for the record, let the record show, makeup wipes are shit. Is that true or false?
Yeah. Unless it's some sort of like new amazing Korean technology that I have not tried that I would be down to try. The ones that from the, that you're getting in CVS or like the regular, and I'm not even going to say the name. But we all know the ones in the blue package that everybody uses. Like, you're not going to have lashes or eyebrows or skin.
It makes me wonder how I still have a skin barrier after living through the 2000s and 2010s, where I strictly
I
lived
did it.
by makeup remover wipes and St. Ives apricot scrub.
Mhm.
Like, how is my skin barrier even alive?
Yeah, we all did it. I had the makeup removers.
Noxema,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sea Breeze, astringent.
Oh, yeah, we all did it. I remember having like the makeup remover wipes next to my bed because, we go out and have a good time partying. You come home
Yeah.
and you're like, not even
Well, at least you took
moisturize.
it- At least you took it off, though. Like, I
Yeah.
would give myself, my drunken college self, like a pat on the back to even remember to do a makeup wipe.
Yeah.
No,
think that,
I worked in cosmetics, so I had to like be able to like peel my eyes open the next day.
Yeah, I think my take on makeup wipes is I think it's still better than nothing. It's definitely not something that I recommend as people for the go-to for removing your makeup, but it's like for those, if you're going out at night, have it like in your nightstand drawer or something for the special occasion, because I do think it's better to
It's
have
better than nothing. Agreed.
Yeah, some makeup.
Yeah.
It's better than sleeping in your makeup.
Exactly, because if I sleep in my makeup, my eyes will be swollen for 3 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have
not
you
good.
have you guys tried those little Olay cleansing melts? Like, I freaking love those things, because it's like you don't even need to bring your whole cleanser with you when you're traveling or whatever. You have no excuse. They're these tiny little
Yeah,
they
I've
look
seen
like
those
just
little cubes.
Listerine tabs. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Don't put it under your mouth.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
Mhm.
And I love that. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
feel like those would be awesome
addictive.
for travel. That would be like
Yes.
definitely like
Yes,
throw it in your,
friendly.
just always keep it in
Mhm.
your travel bag.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I always
Mhm.
have a travel bag. And then when I
Mhm.
used to work in retail, I traveled a lot for work. So I would always have a bag that was just ready, that just had everything you need, makeup, skin, everything. So those are would always be in the travel bag.
Oh, that's smart.
Nice.
I have recently started trying. It's a few Korean brands. You know how they have like these toners in like a big container, and you
And you could slap it on your face.
Yeah, well, I
love
recently bought one that is essentially it's like a cleansing wipe, but it's supposed to be like micellar water. So basically pre-soaked micellar water in one of those round pads. I brought some with me in like a Ziploc for travel.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, I was like, because like you can't really easily wash your face, but that is like the only time that I would personally use makeup wipes. I don't feel like it does a really good job of removing makeup, but like I don't usually wear makeup on the plane if I'm doing like a long international flight. So it's good enough to remove like all the skincare and sunscreen.
No, I like those, but I feel like
yeah.
those are soaked. Like they're soaked. Okay, the other ones that we grew up with were not
Yeah.
soaked. They were like sandpaper with like a little bit of toner on them.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, it's a little too aggressive on the skin. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So.
Shall we go into some makeup do's and don'ts that every woman should know?
Okay.
I wanna
We
know
already
some-
said exfoliate, right? We know
Yes.
this. Exfoliate your face. And I would say, it's just placement. Like, I think we've all, one of my first viral videos, I don't know if it's like 3 years ago, where I was like, stop going here, go here. And now that's kind of become like a social media regular, which is awesome. But I feel like placement matters. If you want your cheeks to be higher, you put your blush higher, right? If you
Makes
want,
sense.
and not also keep a little bit of a luminosity to the skin, especially like on the cheekbone area, because we are losing the elasticity, which makes our face less dimensional, right? So we're getting, I say we look like Gumby. So when your face is too matte, you lose the luminosity. So just by adding a little illumination to the skin in your, tinted something, your glowy blush will catch the light and just give more like radiance and sculpt and like structure and lift to your face.
Mhm.
So I think that's a major do, like ditch the matte and keep the glow.
Mhm.
Do mattify the T-zone, especially like where we get the marionettes, because that, now here's an area you don't want light bouncing off of, because that will show that our fat pad is falling.
Mhm.
So
it's
I always
all
say,
about the lighting, right? And what
it is,
catches
it's
the
how
light.
you, exactly. So what shines will pop, and what's matte will be flat. So mattify the areas you want flat, pores, texture, marionettes, and illuminate the areas you want lifted, bridge of the nose, cheekbones, chin even, just to kind of like pull forward.
Mhm. Mhm. Love that.
What
Also,
are
don't
examples-
ever line the corner of the lips because that was like one of my first, and now it's kind of become a social media norm, which is awesome because you know what? The more people that it gets to, the better. But lining the lips to the corner, like if our lips are dropping, like why are we like
Oh.
accentuating?
Yeah.
Accentuating, exaggerating it.
And even if you
seen-
do it, like just wipe it out of the corners.
Wait, I've seen this Korean makeup trend where you line the lips, but you like go further out, which to me, I was like, wait, that looks like clown makeup.
Yeah.
But so I didn't understand
follow
that,
what?
but I didn't know if you saw that trend.
Yeah,
where,
I'm gonna
like,
go with
it
no
goes-
on that because it could take a left turn. The thing is that I know what the average makeup consumer is capable of. And that, I mean, they can barely get their regular lip liner on. Now you're gonna try to make a little curl on the corner. I'm gonna go vote no on that.
Yeah,
Guilty. That's me.
what
I have
would
no
agree.
idea how to line my lips. Like, what's the deal with people overlining their lips too? Like, is that trend legit? I mean, do you recommend it?
If you do it in the realm of reality, right? It's like taking runway to streets. So I like to go like over the edge. And the reason is the Cupid's bow catches the light, right? So I go slightly over the bow, but more on top. You don't go around the whole sides or you're getting into like an I Love Lucy situation. Like,
You're speaking to our Gen Xers and our
Yeah.
elder millennials.
yeah,
here.
I
love
speak to mostly Gen X and elder millennials. They're like honorary Gen X, right? So if I accentuate the top and I accentuate the bottom, I'm plumping this way.
Yeah,
And then you blend it out with your finger so you don't look psycho.
gotcha.
So when you're lining, are you using a nude lip liner
Yeah.
or using the same color? Okay.
Nude. Always nude. I
Always
mean,
nude.
I basically will use the same lip liner with every single lip color.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Even if it's a red, a berry, a nude, I use the same nude lip liner.
Love it.
Right.
Makeup Forever makes a really good range of nudes.
Hmm.
I'd say for like different skin tones because they have the cool, they have the warm. So like Makeup Forever, like I think it's Where's Walnut or Wherever Walnut is a good one. Or they have like Endless Cacao, which is a little bit deeper taupe. But they have like a really good nude range.
Mhm.
Okay.
Check out. Okay.
Something is if somebody is like tired, is there a makeup hack that can just make you look more awake, or is there something that you can do that unintentionally makes you look more tired?
Yeah, I'm curious
You
about
know,
that too, Mamina.
I would say if making you look more tired is putting a concealer that's too light and you will look gray and dusty.
Ah.
But
Oh,
you know,
shit.
one of
I
my
thought you were supposed to-
favorites,
I thought it was supposed to be light,
Yeah.
to like brighten it.
yeah, like Falcon Crest, absolutely. Dynasty back in the day, you know, it was like if you go too light, it has the adverse effect. So when you're in your 20s, even like maybe early 30s, you put a little light and you look perked up.
Mhm.
But think about it, if you get a puffiness or a bag and you're putting on light, it's like putting white pants on your full bottom, right? It's it's accentuating. It's not. So, and it makes sense. And these are the things that you think of, like, oh yeah, because if I'm feeling a little fuller, I'm not like, let me find my white dress. Boom. You know?
Gotcha.
So when you
Wow.
put light on a situation that we now have that we didn't have in our 20s, you're maximizing the situation. If your under eye is super dark and you put light over it, it's going to look gray.
Okay.
And then you look more tired. And then you're going to try to fix it by putting more powder. And now you're dusty. And now your lines are showing. And now you're more tired looking. So instead, I like to take a little bit of a color corrector. So if you're light to medium, a pink. If you're, you know, medium to deep, tan. If you're deeper, a little more orangey. But I just go and instant awake is putting, I always call it my pink color corrector facelift. But like just a little here, a little here will instantly wake up your face.
Okay.
But you would
Love
put that over your regular concealer. So it would be like almost the last thing you
Oh,
do.
on top of the regular concealer. Okay. And then just for people who are listening and not watching the video, you were pointing to the inner
corners of the eye. Not all up under the eye, because that'll
Yeah.
accentuate. Inner corners of the eye, because that shadow makes us look tired no matter what.
That's
Inner
true.
corner of the eye, next to the nostrils in that little divot,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit on the sides of the lips, and we're pulling out all of the hollow areas that make us look tired.
Love
Wow.
it.
It will
It's so-
instantly wake you up.
So say no to dusty and crusty.
No to dusty and crusty.
No to
Okay.
dusty and crusty.
All right. So yeah, I think we've covered like a shit ton of stuff today, and like we could not be more grateful. And for people
Yes.
who really just need a summary, Erica, if you can give us the 3 key takeaways that we've talked about today to optimize people's makeup, especially if you are, you know, a millennial or a Gen Xer, what do you recommend? 3 takeaways.
You got it. And I would say, you know, aging is relative and maturing is relative. So I remember when I was 28, my bronzer started getting into my forehead lines. So it's not like you don't have to be over 40. If you see your makeup is not performing the way it used to, you can't do the same thing and expect different results, which is the definition of insanity, right? So be willing to try new things. So if you see that your makeup is not performing the way it did, try something new. Technology is changing. You can't use the same thing you used 20 years ago. You're not using a rotary phone. You're not still using the same things. You're not still wearing the same shoes that you did, right? I'm not wearing my Tory Burch flats from, 2002.
Right. Yeah.
So my thing is, be open to trying new technologies. But like the main things, exfoliate, hydrate, and choose glowier or more hydrating options.
Love it. You sound like a dermatologist.
I know. Are you sure you're
But
not
you know what I said? 60% is skin prep. It becomes the skin prep is so much more important because, as you all know, if your skin looks good, your makeup looks good.
Yeah.
And if your makeup and if your skin looks like shit, your makeup looks like shit.
Absolutely. If your skin is crusty, your makeup is crusty. Nothing we can do about this. So if you're not properly really taking care of your skin, and I don't know about how you guys feel about this, but I like to rotate my skincare. Just like my shampoo, like shock your face.
Yeah, that's a whole nother discussion.
That's a whole other thing, but rotating.
But yeah, I by default rotate because I have so many that I want to try. But yes.
But it's not, people are scared. They think they have to use this like one system, and you don't. You can cherry pick your favorites, and your face will not implode. Like you don't have to use the same thing. They're so scared to try new, but like your skin and your hair welcomes new.
Yeah, love that. Well, Erica, this has been amazing. If people want to learn more about you, where else can they find you?
You can find me. I started on the TikTok. I like to say "the" in front of everything. It dates me. Erica Taylor. My handle on TikTok and Instagram, which are my 2 biggest platforms, are Erica Taylor 2347. And then I do some Facebook and YouTube. But my things that you'll see the most videos and the most like new stuff coming out regularly will be on TikTok and Instagram.
Love it.
Follow and you learn lots of wonderful things, as we've discussed a lot today as well in this episode. So don't forget, you can head to the show notes to get access to our downloadable PDF containing all the key takeaways we've discussed today. And don't forget to press the follow on Apple Podcasts and Spotify to never miss an episode. Thank you so much for all the wonderful information. Definitely, I'm going to be exfoliating every time I do major makeup before an event.
Thank you, Erica. Yes.
We love you, Erica. Thank you. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Love you guys. And I always say, if you watch me, laugh a lot, learn a little. We got this.
Laughing is key. Love it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. It was so fun. And by the way, if anyone, your skin is gorgeous. All of their skin is gorgeous.